any further ado, let's get right to Michael Lewis. He is the author of many fine books, but Flash Boys is his most recent. And, it got treated to a 60 Minutes piece. And not only, Michael, did it do that, in the aftermath of that particular broadcast, all of a sudden, Wall Street went goofy. And it was like, hey, wait a second. And it appears to me that there were some people, and I'd be interested in your take on this, because the central premise of your book is this, that basically the market system in America in some quarters is rigged, and the entire thing can be easily riggable because of this high frequency trading technology that is out there, and guys can get in and sneak in a trade and move a market in a way, and then reap the benefit of that moved market in a way, and this is all within milliseconds of each other, and take money off the top and literally shear billions off the top of the market. That's about right?
Yes, and it's not just guys. It's not just a handful of high frequency trading people, but the exchanges get paid to give them access, and the banks and the brokers get paid to have them exploit investors' orders. So the system's implicated.
So, and we've already get into more detail of that. To me, the most amazing thing is how many of these guys on Wall Street go, "What? I am shocked to hear that this is going on." And I mean, half these guys were in your book. No, I don't. It's a Casablanca, gambling in the casino. All right. Well, what?
No, the problem is it's not gambling. The problem is it's scalping. So if it were just gambling, it would be one thing. That what we have here is firms, these high frequency trading firms. They go 1,000 days of trading without ever having a day of losses. So it would be nice if it were gambling. It's not gambling. It's just pure scalping. And yes, it has created a little bit of a stir.
Well, Michael, we likened it a little bit when the book first came out. You're a movie guy, to The Sting, when the horse race is already over.
There you go. That's exactly what it is.
You know, and you're betting on who's going to win, place, and show. And you tell this amazing story about these teams of workers, these crews, laying this cable across, from Chicago, east, and nobody really knowing what it was, and nobody really questioning it.
So, in 2009, 2010, this trader on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange gets the idea that if he can lay a straight fiber from that exchange to basically the NASDAQ exchange in New Jersey, he can cut 2 milliseconds off the travel time in sending a signal. And basically what it enables you to do is figure, because the price movements in the stock market register first in Chicago in the futures exchange, it enables the high frequency traders to know which way the market's going in the stocks they're making markets in New Jersey. So they know market direction before everybody else. And this guy spends, in secret, digs essentially a tunnel from Chicago to New Jersey. It's a straight tunnel, blowing up mountains in Pennsylvania and going through farmers' fields and so on and so forth. And I think you put your finger on the interesting thing. No one knows why he's doing it. If the government's allowing him to use public rights of way, and everybody has a story about why he's doing it, like high-speed internet access for colleges or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But nobody knows that the only purpose of this thing is to help high-frequency traders have an edge in the marketplace.
And how much money did he spend on that?
Well, they said the budget was $300 million, but it went over budget. So it's somewhere between $300 and $400 million.
And how long would you guess it would take him to make that back?
He made it back. I think they basically made it back in the first few weeks of selling it to high frequency trading firms.
Yeah, about an hour to make that back.
It's so amazing, Michael, because we're talking about milliseconds. You're saying this is much faster than a blink of an eye, literally. But to get just a little bit of an edge is all you needed.
Because the people, the market speed is no longer constrained by human beings being in the middle of it. So it moves it's hard to get your mind around, but it's moving at the speed a computer can move. And if the computer can make thousands of trades in a millisecond. So these increments of time all of a sudden become extremely valuable.
Do you think that this book will result, for example, your work Moneyball, resulted in people understanding something very different about the sport that they loved, and they were thought, that sort of ripped some of the purity and the tradition away from the sport that they loved. Now, I think that, but what are you going to change? Because who was really getting hurt there? Actually, who was getting hurt there were guys at the end of their careers who had, lost 4 miles an hour on their fastballs, and guys who had a bad on base
guys
percentage.
Who didn't know how to draw a walk.
Right, guys who did not have, exactly. Guys who didn't know how to lean in. As a matter of fact, there was a story about a guy just a couple weeks ago who's is going into the draft, the Major League Baseball draft, because his great skill is getting hit by balls. He's got this ability to take the pain, to lean in, take the pain, and he always gets on base. So, and I think it's a direct result of Michael Lewis's Moneyball. But all right, so do you think that this will change the world? Do you think your book is going to change the world here?
Well, do you think Moneyball changed the world?
Changed my world.
I think this
book
in a real way.
This book has a very similar sort of impact because for this reason. Look, this is what's happened. Moneyball is about like this disruptive entrepreneur in baseball, Billy Beane in the Oakland A's, doing it differently, and holding up a very unflattering mirror to the rest of the industry, who they were basically saying didn't understand baseball statistics, didn't understand how to value players, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And basically, the world has agreed with Billy Beane.
Yes.
The world has changed, moved very much in his direction in the last decade. This is a book about a group of guys on Wall Street holding up an unflattering mirror to the entire it's not just the stock market, all the financial markets are infected by this problem. Mm-hmm. And saying, this is not fair, it's not just, it's totally inefficient from the point of view of society, people are getting ripped off. And the mere fact they've created an alternative and they've held up this mirror is incredibly disruptive. There are now investigations by the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the New York Attorney General already underway, and the Senate's all over it. What do I think is going to happen? I think that there's going to be, as there has been, enormous blowback from vested interests on Wall Street. And you say, and it is a different war that's got to be had because you're talking about taking billions and billions of dollars away from people who really, really like money. And so I don't think it's going to come as easily. But I do think, yes, I think it is in the book. I think these guys who created this stock exchange can actually change the financial system. I really do believe that.
Well, and I think they will because I think they're going to see it because now it has been brought to their attention. It's the secret that everybody knew. You talk to people who worked in the markets, and John Najarian, Dr. J, who's is a regular contributor to this program, has been talking about high frequency trading for years.
Right.
They're big think tank guys who are either current or former major investment house guys who go to these, whether it's they go up to Montana or Utah or Colorado or whatever. They sit in a mountain and they talk about great things. They've been lamenting this, but it hasn't come to the public's attention. It hasn't come to the voters' attention to actually take a look at this and realize that, as you just pointed out, Michael, this is the most amazing part of your book. You have high frequency trading firms that in 1,000 days of trading never took a loss. It's unprecedented in the history of the market. It's not a market.
It's not a market. So couple that with this. People I think just don't generally know that when they put their stock market order in to E-Trade or TD Ameritrade or wherever it is, their broker is selling the right to trade against that order to high frequency trading firms. And why would anybody pay for the right to trade against your stock market order? It's
right.
Not a good thing.
No.
And so there is a system that is going to crumble. And the question is sort of like, does it really crumble or does it get reconfigured in some other sinister way? But it's obviously so crazy and mixed up that I can't help but believe it's going to change.
Michael Lewis has changed the world once again. Congratulations,
it's a great
Michael.
Read, Michael.
Just a small little contribution to humanity.
Well, the heroes of the book are the heroes here. It's unbelievable what they've done. But anyway, thank you for reading it.
Appreciate it. Flash Boys is the book. Michael Lewis is the author. Thanks for being here, Michael. Good luck.
Thank you.
I don't think he's going to need it. How's he going to work Jonah Hill into the movie? That's all I want to know.